Ma'am, I can't hear you.
హలో, వినపడుతుందా? Am I audible now?
Yeah, ma'am, you are.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I'm logging in from 2 now again.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
can you guess the screen share once more?
లేదు, నేను దీంట్లో this time I'm not using the PPTs. I want to go into discussion. But yeah. Okay, so let's see how that goes. Sarena?
Okay.
Thank you, Nana.
బళ్ళారికి రాకుండా
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Oh, thank you. So should I go ahead and start? Or are we
Um,
still waiting for a few more parents to join in?
Let us wait for 2 more minutes, ma'am.
Okay, once you give me a go ahead, I can start then.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Namaskaram and good afternoon to all the parents of Iris Florets. I'm Ramya Raman and I'm your facilitator for today. We have a session for about an hour. And I hope all of you are settled in. A humble submission, Radhika ma'am, just give me a confirmation by a thumbs up or a hands up. I would need your assistance when it comes to the Q&A. So my humble submission to all the parents, I do have a structured way of putting this across to all of you. Hi, Shailaja Garu. So yes, I do have a program in place. So my intention is to ensure that we have as much of information that can be shared and also ensure that I have some Q&A session happening. So Radhika ma'am, where I would need help is if there are participants who would like to ask any questions, ask them to put them on the chat, or I request the parents to have a scribbling pad and pen handy so you can write and note them down so you don't miss out on the points. And we can take this at the end of the session, which will be about like 10 or 15 minutes, where we can have a quick run through with all the questions and answers. I hope that works with all of us.
Good afternoon, Ramya ma'am. Glad to see you again in this
Thank
wonderful
you.
session, as usual. So definitely, ma'am, I'll be there throughout the session in case any parents, if they are writing out in the chat box, definitely I'm going
Correct.
to read it out, right? And
Right.
any other,
Perfect.
as you said, Q&A session in the last 15 minutes.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I think you can go ahead with the session, and I'm there throughout.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your support.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, all you beautiful people. Before I start the program, honestly, this is for all you parents who are new parents, or probably the parents for the second time or the third time. Remember, parenting is something that we all learn, and it comes through experience. Some that you experience from your, first child, and some that you learn over a period of time. We are not perfect. We are all learning. So this is what is something that all of you need to keep in mind. Also ensure to believe in yourself that your whole focus is about raising your child upright. So you are doing a fabulous job already. We might have a little ups and downs, which is where we probably will need assistance and help. Iris and myself are doing our best we can to assist you at this. That's why we have these regular touch base programs where parents like you, if you have any queries or concerns, can be sorted. There are some times which me as a counselor or a facilitator might not be able to resolve. That is exactly where we will have intervention of other specialists who would, wherever possible, I would recommend you to reach out to certain people on the need basis. So let's start our journey, and I hope I'm audible and visible. So let's stick by the rules. Let's stay mute. If you do have questions, put them on the chat. Radhika ma'am will read out to me at the end. So let's start our journey. So let's start about what do we understand when we talk about creating and nurturing a disciplined environment for our children, which is very crucial for their development and well-being. So I'll give you a quick tips and tricks on how we can work around, since we only have about an hour to run this program. So let's ensure that we have, we are all on the same page. So starting on the journey, the first things first, create a consistent schedule for the child. This is something which every household believes in, and this Iris Florets also believes in the same. So a school has its own set of routines that they follow. Remember, to raise a child, we need equal amount of contribution coming from both parents as well as the school, right? So when we talk about a daily routine, which could be a morning routine, an afternoon after school routine, it could be a routine for the games that they have in the evening, it could be a routine before bedtime. So ensure that we go, we follow this routine through. There has to be a consistent, use of this routine on a regular basis, unless otherwise there's a very difficult situation, or a child is unwell where the routine cannot be followed. Otherwise, this is something which is non-compromisable. Okay, so like, for example, a child needs to wake up at, say, 6 in the morning, so for a child to raise at 6 in the morning, the early bedtime has to be on. So what kind of breakfast? Breakfast again cannot be sitting on the sofa or sitting in the bed. The breakfast has to be at the dining table where the whole family is there. So this is one routine that we can look at. Again, breakfast, we as parents, especially Indian parents, have this, sad, but we have our way of showing love and affection through food. So we give a lot of food to the child the very beginning, the starting of the morning, where the child is actually not ready to take in so much food. We stuff the child with, overload it with food, and by the time the child actually travels to school, is either very nausea, has a nausea, or has been throwing up, or comes to the school with a bad stomachache. It could be any of these reasons. So let's ensure that we don't show our love and affection just by feeding the child. Again, milk is something that we all as Indian parents believe and think that milk is something which is very good, and we end up feeding too much of milk to the child. Please remember, as the child comes to an age of 3, 4, the requirement of milk has to considerably come down, and the solids need to go in. Protein, calcium, and all come from different food that can be introduced, but not just by milk, right? So again, dressing up schedule, the shower. If there are some times when parents feel that they are overly worked up in the morning and they are falling short of time, so they give a child a bath in the night, which is absolutely fine. It works well for you, good for you. So there is nothing called the child has to be bathed in the morning only. So if that works, great. If it doesn't, figure out a routine that works for you and your child. Please remember, the morning ritual has to be a happy ritual. It cannot be where a child is being forced to get up, forced to take a shower, forced to eat. So remember, you're starting the day with a lot of depression. So a child will go with a lot of sadness when it goes to school. So this is a very important part of the routine that you need to ensure that it's taken care of. Right? Same thing can happen for an evening schedule where the child is coming back from school. What can we do for the child? If it's a 4 o'clock or a 3 o'clock or a 2 o'clock time that the child comes home, what kind of a routine do you think the child is comfortable with? Is it something that they need a quick snack, a finger food as they call, or a quick change, and then go to play out, or maybe sit and do an activity with a parent at home? So any of these could be a ritual again. Bedtime routine, again, something which both the parents need to be involved in. What is the clock out time that we have? What is the gadget time that we need to cut off on? What is that the child can be eased out when he goes to bed? Could be a reading a book, could be brushing teeth, could be a shlokam that we can have before the child goes to bed. So a child does understand that it's a time to the day is coming to an end. So these are some simple routines that you can work around to ensure that the child starts to realize that, okay, this time is for me to go to bed. I can't play now. This is the time for me to get up. This is the time for me to eat. So this is one simple way of getting this little one to get used to something called a routine. The second element that we need to focus upon is we need to ensure that we have clear and age appropriate rules. Now, when I say age appropriate, it's not parent age appropriate, it is a child age appropriate. Why am I saying this? Because most of the times we parents think that, if it's working for you, it's working for the child too. So ensure that we have clearly set rules and regulations in place of age appropriate for the child. I'll give you a few examples to start off with. So maybe, being very gentle when you're touching a baby sister or a baby brother, being gentle when you're holding, say, a cutlery, being, how you share your toys, how you clean up before you, once you're done playing, how do you clean up the area of, where you've played. So these behavior and these routines make a lot of sense. There is something which works for an adult and a child, which I'm going to share now, which is called a rule of three formula. Okay. This is formula that works for adults as well. That's why I'm saying it works for both the children as well as adults. So what is a rule of three formula? Every activity that you're letting the child be involved in, or you're trying to set a routine right, or you're trying to discipline a child to do certain things in a certain way, ensure that activity that you're trying to get that into a routine has to have minimum 3, or rather should I say maximum 3 instructions. Right? Not more than 3. A brain cannot comprehend beyond 3 instructions, especially at that age, it cannot. So you should have a rule of 3. So when a child is about to play or about to finish playing, or it's a time for it to go for a shower, so what are the 3 rules that you're going to reiterate for the child, so the child knows that it's time for me to finish my playing. Now it's time for me to pick up my toys, put them into a certain place, clean up or tidy up that particular space. Then the next routine for me is going to be that I'm going for a shower now. So in that process, what are the 3 things? Ensure I have my towel, ensure that I have my sleeping night suit in place, ensure that I have my toothbrush and toothpaste in place. So something like these, which are simple yet something which a child can easily understand and execute. Right? So when you talk about setting clear age appropriate rules, let that rules not cross beyond 3. Fair. Something that I used to do when I was raising my children was I used to have a chart paper with a lot of, what do I say, stickers, okay? Some gold stickers, some silver stickers. So for every execution of work that they did without being reminded, I would give them a gold star or a silver star, depending on the work they have done. So children are super excited. You can also have some stickers when it comes to bedtime. You can have those 3 rules put as stickers. So pictures speak more than words. So they can read those stickers or see those stickers and identify what are the 3 rules that they need to follow, and they can execute it easily. Right? So you can always help them identify by pictures, and that's also fine, absolutely okay. Right? Another important element is celebrating success. When I say success, we're celebrating the little success that we get every single day. So if a routine of a bath routine is being followed very well, then we go ahead and appreciate the child. We give her an extra star, or we tell the child that tomorrow you will get this extra. Say tomorrow you wanted a puri chole for tomorrow's lunch, you will have a puri chole tomorrow. So that's an excitement that comes through. Depends on what you believe in celebration, but celebration need not necessarily always be about food. Okay, so do not say I will give you an extra chocolate, or do not say I will give you an extra junk to eat. No, that is not how you compensate or appreciate a success celebration, right? So we should be mindful and thoughtful of what we are proposing when a child is successfully having delivered one particular act. Okay, so this is something which is important. Radhika ma'am, there are messages I think that are coming on chat, so just I hope you're making your notes, right?
Ma'am, there's it's no particular message. They're just saying hello, but I can see like Anusha, and there were a man. I mean, they raised their hands for what we don't know, but nothing message is there in the chat box.
Okay, probably they do have a question, and they
yes.
Done. I was just rechecking. That's all it is. Okay. Now, when we talk about implementing, say, gentle discipline techniques, I'm not saying all the time. But many a times we find our children a little more aggressive in certain behaviors, certain time of the day that they become very aggressive. Okay, especially when you are all out on a family say outing, and the child becomes suddenly very aggressive, misbehaves when the child is at a certain public area, or when you go out for shopping, the child again starts showing all kinds of tantrums. So this is one place where a routine of discipline needs to be imbibed in the child. That has to be done at home, not at the place when you're outside. Okay, so if a child is having an undesirable behavior, you're not very happy with it, one element which most of the parents and all of the parents do is we redirect the focus from one element to another element, which is beautiful, which is a very smart move. But be careful, you can't just give the child the gadget, then you know that the child is moved on to it. Okay, for example, you're traveling by flight, you're traveling by train, you're traveling, you have a commute which is about say an hour. Okay, and the child, you can only talk to the child only so much. So yes, certain times, certain special toys that they might have, certain special, like my child used to have a blankie. Blankie is a small little towel that the child keeps because she used to love sucking her thumb. So she used to keep that blankie very close to her, and she felt very comfortable with it. So those are some things that we can keep, some toys, some new activities that you can develop, some new music that you can introduce to. All these are some things that you can do a fabulous job when it comes to disciplining your child when it's in an unknown territory, right? Again, emotional understanding. Yes, Radhika ma'am.
Yeah, there is a question from one of the madam, Shailaja.
Yes,
Ma'am,
Chalice.
can you suggest us how to handle a child who always needs attention? If won't give attention, they will be depressed. How to handle such children?
So you're saying that the child, see, that's where I was coming right now, to understand the emotions of a child. Um, many a times, a child needs, when it's looking for attention, it's not getting the attention, is when they show all kinds of signs to tell us that, they really are looking forward to your focus on them or attention on them. So remember, if you're at home, this is a very secure and safe environment for the child. So a child showing tantrums here is something that is quite manageable. So the first things first, when you see a child doing stuff, you need to first, you, when I say you as an adult, needs to calm down, because the first thing that we do is we rebel. We are the ones who say, you don't do this, you don't do that, and we have all kinds of loud noises and lots of no versus lots of yes, right? That is number one focus, that you need to be more calmer than the child is. Number two, you need to understand what time of the day. Is this something which is happening as a one-off case, or is this happening on a very regular time? For example, say 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the child is a little, the child is very moody, the child is very cranky, the child is very aggressive during this time of the day. Now, as a parent, as a teacher, you need to be observant as to why this child is doing, and why is it at this point in time is it doing. So is it that the child is overly tired, that it needs see, remember, these children are still not in a position to identify the difficulties or identify their emotions. They can't even understand if they are sleepy. They would be grumpy because of any reason. So you as a adult, you as a caregiver, you as a caretaker needs to be more vigilant to understand why this child is doing certain things in a certain way at a certain time. Am I understandable? Right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
please
Yes.
understand, if it's a routine thing that is happening on a very regular basis in a particular time, that I heard somebody talk. Were they talking to me, or was it just a right, Shailaja Garu? So this is what I was trying to say. A child is still not capable of expressing themselves emotionally. Forget the child, even you and me as adults sometimes are lost in terms of expressing ourselves. Okay, and the child still hasn't got that amount of vocabulary to even express saying the basic thing that I'm hungry or I'm sleepy. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you all before, but I remember having shared this with Radhika ma'am, that even today at this point in time in life, there are times when I lose my temper. I have no clue of why I'm losing it, but there is one thing that my mom says, probably that you're hungry, or probably that you're overly exhausted, or probably that you're tired, you know. And I get irritated because I'm an adult and my mom still ends up telling me this. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes we don't really know. As an adult, I make such things, where my emotions go very haywire. So it's a child that you're looking at. Again, another observation through one of my counselings, which I realized, which I should share with all of you, is there was a child who used to have this issue when the school would come to an end. Okay, the child would become very aggressive. The child would become extremely noisy, very bold in terms of its expressions. So he would take the bag, throw, somebody going would pull their hair, and none of us would, the teachers couldn't understand why this thing was happening. So after having observed this child, after having given some rules for the teachers to follow, make some observational notes, I realized a very important element, that the child was getting aggressive when there was one particular person who would come and pick the child up. He would not get aggressive every day, but most of the days during those times when there was somebody else coming to pick the child up, the child would get aggressive. So this was an observation made. And over a period of time, having talked to the child, having talked to the parents, the conclusion was that the child was not comfortable with the caregiver who was coming to pick them up. So you see how the emotions can be haywire, right? So Shalja ma'am, I hope I was able to answer your question. So this cannot be if it's a one-off case, it's a different ball game. But if it's a regular routine that's happening, then it's a red flag, right?
Yes,
I hope I was
ma'am.
able to
Thank
answer
you.
the question.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Shalja.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Again, when we are talking about emotions, just because we have vocabulary doesn't mean we give words to the child, because the child still doesn't know what emotions mean and what they are defined as. So let us not put words into the child's mouth. Okay, so let's use, let us be more vigilant when we are using words in front of the child. Uh, I can see a trend that's happening as early as 4 5 year old child, is able to talk words like I am sad, I am depressed. These are some shocking words which we as adults can use, but I'm surprised how these kids are using. Okay, also because social media is something that's very handy for them. The videos that they watch, the cartoons that they see also have huge dialogues that come through, and this is what they adapt to. So please be vigilant, parents, and be careful about the words you're using in front of the child, right? So talk to the child, understand what the child is feeling. Before even the feeling element, let's understand that the child is uncomfortable. That itself should be soothing enough for the child. As the adult word we use now, empathy, that itself should be good for the child to give a lot of soothing, right? Next one, which is a very favorite one of mine, should I say, is provide a very structured and stable environment. So the child should be able to predict. When it comes home, it should be able to predict the environment. The child should know that now I have to open my shoes here. Now the child knows that this is where I'm supposed to keep my bag. Now the child knows that the water bottle and the lunch box needs to be taken out from the bag and put in the kitchen. Remember the rule of three? When you come inside the house, there's a rule of three. So this is the three rule that we follow, and the child will be able to follow it So this is something which is a very consistent one. Okay, very structured one. So the child knows immediately the moment it comes in, what is the first, second, third thing that the child needs to do. Remember, home is the safest space for the child. So whatever learning the child has, whatever happiness the child can express is all here. So we need to ensure that we have a very soothing environment, a very safe space for a child to explore and experiment. Radhika ma'am, I can see a lot
Yes.
of chat messages.
Yes. I was just waiting for you to complete that. Then I thought
Appreciate it.
it's okay.
Yeah.
There is a question, few things from Swati Madam. My first one is my child doesn't wake up early in the morning, and it's a
Okay.
struggle to get him bathed and eat even little breakfast.
Okay. Let's go one quick, Radhika ma'am, let's go one question at a time.
That's what
Let's
I'm
go
just
one.
going with one.
Yes,
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you. So you said you have a difficulty in waking your child up early in the morning, right? To get him into a routine, and also ensuring that he, there's an issue with the breakfast element, right?
Yes.
Yes. So let's start with the first thing when it comes to the morning routine of waking up. Can you all recollect those days when you used to be woken up for going to school? At least I remember mine. Anybody who wants to share how you were woken up when you were supposed to go to school?
Yeah.
Anybody? Yes, Radhika ma'am, you have something to share with your experience?
Yes, absolutely. Because we used to, early to bed and early to rise, I can say. So we were
Correct.
going somewhere
Correct.
around 8, not beyond that. We used to finish
Correct.
our dinner by 7 o'clock, and 7:30, go to bed by 8, max 8:30, not beyond that. So we used to wake up at somewhere around 6:30.
Correct. And it was a easy sleep because you had about good 10 to 11 hours of sleep.
Absolutely.
See, this is what I was trying to come to the point. When we want the child to be an early riser, you need to ensure that the child clocks out early as well. Right. So if it's
Yes.
an early to bed, then it could be an early to rise, because the child at that age needs about anywhere between 11 to 12 hours of sleep.
Yes, absolutely. Hmm.
Right. Number two, where if you wake up the child when the child is half asleep, let's not lie to each other. When we have when we are not had, we've not had a good night's sleep, okay, and you have a early morning office to go to, do you really wake up with that freshness and happiness? You don't. You also struggle saying, let me sleep for another 5 minutes, let me sleep for another half an hour, let me prolong this for a little more time. We as adults do. We as
Yes.
adults, we ourselves do. So how do you expect a child not to do it? It's a very stupid thing to say. My child doesn't get up at 6 in the morning. Please, it's a child. Okay, number one. Number two, don't treat him as an adult, please. It's okay. Even if he goes a little late to school once in a while is fine. But the early to sleep routine has to be in place. It is not going to be easy for parents who have their children sleep at 10, 11 in the night, which is not a good routine at all. So you will have to ensure that you advance your clock by a couple of hours. That's why the routine, the being consistent in your routine is very crucial. This is what I've been harping since the time I started the session. Right? So please, this is a very important element. Number two, I talked about an example of milk in the morning, right? I talked to you about an example of overfeeding the child in the morning. Do you remember? Just couple minutes ago is when I said this. I repeat again. Once a child is about 3-4 years of age, right? The child has got different priorities right now. Okay, the child might not want to eat. The child might be excited to go to school. The child might be more interested in playing. The child might have any other new routine that it is developed. But please understand, parents, if your child is hungry, he will come and tell you. You don't have to force feed the child. You can probably give him a finger snack. You don't have to give him a paratha or a idli or a dosa or something like that. You can give him a finger snack. That should be fine. A child will be okay. Nothing will happen to your child. I promise you on that. Nothing will happen to your child. Your child is hale and hearty. Your child is healthy. Everything is going to be okay. Nothing will happen if your child doesn't have a morning breakfast. It's absolutely fine. Let me tell you, if the routine is a mess, which we wake up at 6 in the morning and you're rushing the child into everything, you need to understand that when a child wants to sit and eat, it wants to enjoy the food as you and I would like to as well. So you cannot force the child to say, Toragatinu, Vasuchesindi, Toragatinu, Mingo, this and that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And you shouldn't do that. If that is the concern you have, ensure that you give an other box for the child, that the moment the child reaches the school and the child is hungry, he can eat that snack at that time. Am I clear? Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The second question is from Swati ma'am itself. He wanders around leaving us when we go out.
Sorry, come again?
He wanders around. I mean, he leaves the parents when they go out. Maybe he's roaming in and around there. That is what I think Swati ma'am is telling.
Okay. So you are saying that when you are out and obviously when you're outing, you feel that your child is not around you.
Absolutely. That is what she meant, I guess. Absolutely.
Can you recheck? That's what she says. Can you just recheck?
I think Swati ma'am, is it so? Like he wanders around leaving us when we go out. This is what Swati ma'am is asking.
Okay, right. We have this as a parent, we always feel our child has to be perfect, especially when they get out of the house, because it's not the child which we are bothered about, it's our impression that we are bothered about. What will people say? What will people talk about me raising my child in a certain way? Right? We are more scared about how people are going to judge us with our parenting skills versus anything else. At home, a child is in a safe environment. Okay, so the child likes to explore things. Okay, there's a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom house. The child knows where is what. If you tell a child that please go get my laptop, he knows exactly where you keep your laptop. He knows where the charger is. He knows exactly what is where. So he's familiar with the environment. So when he goes out, he wants to explore that place. Okay, a lot of adults don't do it actually. Okay, but the child being inquisitive would like to explore. Now what you need to ensure is when you start disciplining a child, right, a child will start losing interest and would not sit with you. This is a fact. So my learning that I've had in 24 years is initially to whichever new environment you're going to, ensure that you are with the child and go to the place that the child wants to go. If the child is walking, you're in a shopping mall and the child is walking across all the different sections, please walk around with the child. Please walk around with the child. Between the both the adult parents that we're talking about, let one parent be with the child and let the parent and the child explore that place. After a certain time, say about half an hour, 40 minutes, the child will come back. And now you say that, okay, now that we've roamed around, can we go back and do some purchases? Or can we go and help Amma? Or can we go and buy some veggies from this place? Can you run the trolley? Can you, can you help me with this particular thing? Then the child will come back to you. Initial is always to give it for the child. So you need to be with the child first. This is one thing that I have explored during my raising my children. So it's always when you're in a new environment, the child is very inquisitive, very excited, very thrilled, super duper happy. And when you start saying, ikkada kurcho, akkada vellaku, idi chayyaku, adi mutkoku, this is not a place where I like to be. Right? So whichever restaurant we go to, it's nice to look around. Because how many of you recollect this, that when we go to a restaurant, even as adults, we decide a place, we look at every place, we look at all the tables, we look at every possible, area, and then we decide, okay, our table, that place looks nicer. As adults, don't we do it? Do we or do we not do it?
We do.
We do. They want to explore the place. They're excited about this new environment. They know that they might not see it, they might see it or they might not see it again. They're super happy about it now. So my request is for parents to be a little more patient, be with the child initially, explore the place with the child, and then you can ensure that the child follows your, your routine which you want them to follow. But for now, the initial element is to ensure you explore the place together. That way, at least the child is more calmer.
Okay. Same, Swati ma'am has got one more question. My child eats lunch by himself at school, not at home. He wants us to feed him. How to make him do that? The child needs more pampering at home, probably.
Radhika ma'am, do you, again, this is because this is a parental class, so I'm just sharing this. Do you recollect that you and I were talking about this same thing sometime, I think in the last time when you and I had a talk about 15-20 days ago? Yes. I was talking to you and you asked me, I said, I'm feeding Ria and Riddhi. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And both my daughters are teenagers. When I say teenagers, they are 18 and 17 years of age. Okay, adults, okay, mini adults, I still feed them.
Yeah, sometimes they feed
them. Oh. That is okay, and that's okay. It is absolutely fine. Oh, I love to be fed. That is different than my mom doesn't feed me anymore. But I would love to be fed too. It is okay. What is important is the child eating by himself in school? That means he knows that there are times when he's supposed to eat, he'll eat by himself. Why are you so panicky about it? It is okay. And trust me, when you are giving the child, say a piece of pizza, or a slice of pizza, sorry, or you give a child, say, a rolled paratha with jam, or you give a child a slice of bread with butter, and leave the child alone, the child will eat by himself. Certain food they don't want to eat, and that's okay. That's
Yes.
absolutely fine. Who are we talking about? We're talking about a 4-year, 5-year, 6-year-old kid. Here I gave you an example of an 18 and a 17-year-old. so,
Yes.
so please, that's okay. Don't put too much of stress on yourself. Your child exactly knows that when he's supposed to eat by himself and how he's supposed to eat. So you should be proud of your child that he's learning both the habits, and he's coming back home. He wants you to be around him. He wants that affection from you. He wants that love from you. He wants that focus from you. That's his way of showing his affection, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Yes. And Madam has got one more. That's good thing actually what she said. It's one good thing that he stopped watching mobile ever since someone at school told him. That's really I appreciate to the teacher, because teacher plays I mean a majority of the role, whatever the teacher says in the school, that really
Yeah.
impacts the child, right? So it's really good. And so that helped us a lot. So she says thanks for that. So really appreciate Madam Muna, whoever the teacher said. It's really a wonderful gesture that teacher told the child and the child listened to it, and parents are really happy. So happy
Okay.
for that. And other thing is that my son won't sit and study for a long time. It is a struggle.
We are talking of children. We are not talking of adults. Why can't we all understand this? How old is your child, ma'am? How old is your child? Your child doesn't sit and study. How old is your child?
Shailaja ma'am, how old is your child? Swati ma'am, how old is your child? Maybe you can just write it in a box, ma'am. 5 years.
You're expecting a 5-year-old to act like an adult? None of us sit. None of us sit. We as adults don't sit. Unless there's a pressure, we don't sit. Ma'am, a 5-year-old, let him live his life. There is no big examination he's supposed to write now. He's not supposed to get a job. He's not supposed to do anything. He's just supposed to enjoy. It is okay. As a parent, I mean, don't take me wrong, but when I was growing up, my mom has done my homework. I used to sit on her lap, hold the pencil, but she used to write. I have never written my homework by myself. Yet today, you and I are sitting in a session, you know. So when the time comes, the child will do what he's supposed to do. It's okay. Leave the child alone. Leave the child alone. Don't force the child. The more you force, the more aggression happens. The more hatred happens. That's why Montessori learning has come to. It's a playway method. That's about it. All you need to ensure is, when my child is going to the school, is my child happy? When my child is in the school, is he learning something new? Is he friends with everybody? Is he good with the teachers? Is he enjoying? Is he eating well? Is he coming back home and doing his routines properly? Is he growing up and putting on a decent amount of weight? And his brain is working fine and he's talking pretty well. What else would you want? These are the skills that are required right now, not your study skills. It is absolutely fine. So don't put too much of pressure on the child. Poor thing, he's just coming to the world just 4 years ago. Don't put too much of pressure, please.
Yes, even it's really required. So we have one more question from Trupti Lata.
Yes.
Now she says, hello man, good afternoon. Most of the time, I lose my patience while addressing the right things to him, to the child. Okay, on that time, how I can calm myself and the situations too.
Okay.
I'll repeat
Another
again.
question.
You want me to repeat again?
No, let me rephrase that question and let me know if I've understood it right. Okay. So the question is that, as a parent, we tend to lose our patience when we really have to explain the child what is right, what is wrong, correct?
Yes, yes.
Is my understanding correct?
Yes.
Good. Okay. How many of you as adults like to be advised all the time, every time?
Not all the time, probably.
And every time also, it depends on the mood.
Absolutely.
If I am in a good mood, I will take all your advices. And if I'm not in a good mood, I will probably not even pay a heed. Yes?
Yeah.
So this is exactly what a child goes through as well. There's no difference between an adult and a child, except that they don't have vocabulary and that amount of maturity. So one, yes, when a child is doing something wrong, that wrong has already happened. Okay, that's why you're losing patience, right? So it's okay. So long as nobody is getting killed, so long as the child is not hurting himself, so long as the child is not hurt anybody else, so long as that is fine, that situation for that time is done. This discussion should only happen when everything is calmer. It could be the next day also, where you can sit with the child when the child is in the best of the mood, or you're feeding the child after coming from school. You're talking about all the gossip, what happened, what this teacher was doing, what happened in the van, and this and that. When you have all the gossip session with your child, that is exactly the time when you're supposed to open your mouth and ask the child, what happened yesterday? Did you think it went right? Why did it happen? What did you do? What did you feel when that was happening? So you first need to understand if the child was aggressive at that time or did something that was not right. Why did the child do in the first place? Let me make one thing very clear to all the parents here. Not always what you see is what is right. You have to understand why the child did certain things in a certain way, because for that time, the child felt that was the right way to do. And maybe that was the right way to do. Am I making sense? So please, one thing, first things first, have a lot of patience when you're handling a child like this, because the incident is already, it's done and dusted. There's nothing you and I can do about it. We are all crying over the spilled milk. You just have to clean it and move on. So I will say, if you really want the child to understand about good and bad, then you should speak at a time when the child is comfortable to listen to you. And don't tell the child that this is right, this is wrong. Ask the child why he did what he did, to understand his perspective of what happened. Now, suppose a child has been playing with his friend, okay? He was playing in the, say in our apartment corridor. You were inside in the kitchen, busy cooking. You never saw, you heard the children play, but you never saw what happened. Then there is an incident that happened where your child aggressively beats up the other child. Or maybe some incident like that. You were not a witness to it, so you absolutely have no clue what happened there. Yes or no? Right? It could be that the child actually took away my toy, which was belonging to me, and I was to get it home, but the other child was actually snatching it and taking it away to his home. My pride, my possession is mine. So in order to take it back from him, I snatched it. But usually what do? If we were the typical parents, we would have said, no, Nana, tappu ila chahiye kordu. But where is the tappu? Adinath, it's my thing, right? It is my possession, right? It's my property, right? Shouldn't I have it? So this is something that every parent needs to understand. That's why I'm saying you need to be calmer. For things that have already happened, there's nothing you and I can do about it. But to understand why the child did what it did, you need to have patience, see the right time to talk to the child, and then ask the child, not dictate the terms to the child. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Tripti, I hope that's why patience is required.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
No problem, Tripti, no problem at all. Ho jayega, sab ho jayega, don't worry. Everything. You never had patience when you were growing up, Tripti, but now you have oodles of patience thanks to the child. So we all grow. We all will develop.
Okay, ma'am.
So chill maro, kuch nahi hone wala. Sab acha ho jayega, don't worry.
No, we have one more question.
One second, thank you.
Teja.
No problem. Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Feeding food to kids is a big task nowadays.
Correct.
Right. Can you suggest if there is a way to feed food, and also how to avoid junk food like chocolates or ice creams? My kid is becoming stubborn and crying a lot till I give him or her what was asked.
I know this session is going to turn out to be very different than what I had imagined. Okay. First things first. We have already done the blunder of introducing the child to anything which is sugary. Right? Whether it's chocolates, whether it's ice creams, whether it's junk. We've already done that blunder, right? To ensure that we don't make the matters worse, the first things that you can do is ensure that we don't have these at home or at a place where the child can find it. Okay, number one. Number two, a child is growing. Okay, and what I'm going to tell, most of the parents might not like it, but this is something all you parents need to understand. You don't have to eat every day. You don't have to eat every day. When I say you, I'm not talking about you as an adult. I'm talking about the child. The child doesn't have to eat every day. There are some times when the child feels full, the child might not eat. There are some times when the child might not like a certain food, might not eat. It might not eat for 1 day, it might not eat for 2 days, and it's absolutely fine. Nothing is going to happen to your child. Nothing is going to happen. A child can go without food for almost about 2+ days. Aram se. But in the process, you should not be giving him milk to compensate. Huh? Let me make that clear as well. Oh, I gave him a chocolate milk. Oh, he's not eating this, so I managed to give him this. That is not how it works. He doesn't eat what you're providing him to eat, then he doesn't get anything else also. Trust me, ma'am. Trust me, all the parents sitting here. I've experimented this with my child for 3 days, and they've done that, and they've come out of it. 3 days, I've ensured that my child has not eaten. Rather, the child ensured that he didn't eat. But the 4th day, kutte ki doom, they have come back to normalcy. They have started to eat because they realize that if they don't eat what is being provided, there is nothing new that's going to be given to them either. A parent here has to be very strict, whether it is parents or grandparents if the child lives with. Okay, so this is a very important thing. Nothing will happen to your child. 2 days, 3 days, a child can go aram se without food. Nothing will happen. But do not compensate it with any other thing. Because the child is very smart. The child understands if for some time if I do this tantrums and I cry and I don't eat, Amma will next come with chocolate milk and I'm more than happy. Because for chewing, it takes energy. It takes a lot of effort. So child doesn't want to chew. Probably a child is very comfortable drinking anything which is liquid. So don't get into that, mess that ensuring that the child is not eating. So you feed him with milk. That is not how you compensate. And nothing will happen to your child. Go to any pediatrician, go to any doctor. They will vouch for what I'm saying. A child will come back to the routine, but you have to be patient. Nothing will happen to your child. Your child will not feel weak. Trust me. If you don't eat for a day or two, you will feel very lethargic. Your BP, your sugar and all will fluctuate. That fellow will be very active. Trust me on that. Nothing will happen to that little fellow.
Yes, we have to be patient enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, anybody who's got another question? I could
There are
hear
a lot
a
of
gentleman.
questions, ma'am.
Okay, we can take on.
Yeah. So hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. How to deal with a hyperactive child at home?
Okay. This is again a very wrong terminology which we all use. Thanks to internet, it is messing things up further. How do you define hyperactive? How do you define active? How do you define hyperactive? Just because you don't have the patience to run around with the child doesn't mean the child is hyperactive. Because this was a very there was a case like this that came to me where the parents said that my child is hyperactive and we all get tired and we are this and we are that. And then when I asked for the routine, the parent was saying that no, I get I have other works to do, so I can't concentrate on the child, and that's about it. So I see him running from here and there, so jumping on the sofa and jumping on the bed and things like those. Is that what you're talking when it comes to hyperactive? What is your, yes?
I don't know. That's what Santosh sir, I think. Manchala Santosh. I think you need to tell about it, sir.
Santosh Garu, could you be a little more clearer when you're talking about this?
Can you just, talk about it?
Is he able to unmute himself? No.
That's what. Durga Prasad can.
That's okay. Till Santosh Garu tries to get himself into a talking mode. Let me give you a few thoughts or information that you need to keep in mind when you start branding or labeling a child hyperactive or active. Okay. Please make this as a observation notes for yourself, okay? Because this is what a pediatrician would also ask you when you are going for a checkup. One, how much of sugar intake is your child having? Am I audible or did I get disconnected?
No, you're audible. You're audible.
Okay. So number one, how much is the sugar intake my child is having on a daily basis? Second, when is my child eating and what are the eating habits and what is triggering, in the sense, again, I'm not sure if I'd spoken about this example earlier. I had a lactogen intolerance when I was growing up, which my parents couldn't identify. Because of that, I managed to have loads and loads of rashes towards my private area, towards my underarms, and towards my arms. And my parents did see these patches, but they could not understand why this was happening. Okay. And as the evening would set in, right, this would get aggressive for me. This would get really bad because I would play and come. Remember, I would play in the mud, I would play outside, I would sweat, and because of the sweat, it used to itch me further. Okay. And I was a kid, so I didn't have I was not in a position to explain that I was getting very irritated with all this. Okay. And because I used to have a night routine of taking a bath and sleeping, the bath soap was also something that was creating a lot of itchiness because it was drying my skin further. To top it all, milk. I was given a glass of warm milk to drink and sleep. And that would trigger a lot of issues when I would sleep. So I would have a very restless night. Very restless night. Okay. So there were times when I've had, I've peed in the bed. There are times when I have peed on my way to the washroom. There are times when I have woken up crying with cramps in my stomach. For a long, long time, my parents didn't know what was happening. So I would, when I say about hyperactive, this is how I used to do. I used to scream, I used to shout, I used to wake my sisters up who used to sleep with me. I used to throw pillows. I used to, we used to have skipping ropes. I still remember it so well. Badminton racket, everything used to be out of the window because I was seeking for attention. Somebody help me, somebody do something that I, get out of this, this discomfort. So when you talk hyperactive, for me, that was one way of showing my discomfort. So don't take me wrong. I'm repeating myself. When you say hyperactive, that's why I asked you to define when you say hyperactive, what does that mean? There could be an allergy issue. It could be, should I say, attention issue. It could be something that I have a scare to sleep in the night by myself. So it could be a nightmare that I am scared of. It could be something that something in school that has been happening that's triggering. It could be a number of reasons. So it could be food. It could be people. It could be the clothes I'm wearing. It could be something which probably cotton suits me and maybe synthetic doesn't, but you're making the child wear synthetic more often. So there are multiple things, and hyperactive is a very a terminology that is being taken from the internet very conveniently and used very conveniently too. That's why I need more details. I'm just giving you a offhand information that these all also are possibilities where a child is extremely active, extremely aggressive, extremely active. It is attention seeking also. That could be another possibility. It could be an ADHD borderline also. Please, I'm not scaring parents here. I'm just telling you. So please do not label things like this unless you have enough data to tell what it means. Okay, when you go to a counselor, when you go to a therapist, there is a routine that they follow where they ask you certain questions, where they ask the child a certain questions, and then they decide whether this child is into which category and what, you know, unlike what you and I are talking about. So if you have any descriptions on the hyperactiveness, please let me know. Or you can take my phone number from Radhika ma'am and call me, and probably we can discuss on this off record.
Yes, ma'am, sure. You can just talk to the center and you can take my number and we'll definitely get you connected with Ramya.
Yes. So that could be one beautiful way of reaching out. Maybe you're uncomfortable talking about it now. We can do that off record also. No issues at all. But let's not label till we are sure of what it is. Right.
So there's one
Radhika
more
ma'am.
question from Niharika ma'am. As a working mother, how to handle the kid when you are in an important call and she needs attention? I mean, the child needs attention.
So when you're doing a work from home, is that what you mean?
Yes, probably. Or maybe getting a call.
Yes, that's what she said. She said yes.
Yes.
Okay. When a child, when you say a child is needing attention, it could be just that it wants to be in the vicinity of where you are. It's not like I'm sitting in a room with my door shut and you're sitting outside, the child is sitting outside. So he just wants to be in and around you. That could be one element. So you can get the child into the room and you can go on with your call with the child, probably given some toys or some activity, or you can make the child sit on it. I've done this. You can make the child sit on your lap and be a part of the a meeting. Maybe the child is quite happy there, or the child wants just a soothing bosom of the mom, so just wants to be there. So just hug the child, make the child sit along with you. Even that works. Remember, when you do a work from home, it is a work that you're doing from home. So everybody understands that. When I say everybody, I'm talking about the corporate world. They understand that you have a child at home and that would need attention. Everybody understands. So you don't have to be a picture perfect mom all the time. You can always unmute and say, I'm sorry, but my child needs my attention. I'm right there at the meeting. I'll be on mute. But whenever you have a question, I will surely answer. But just please be aware that I'm in the meeting room. So that's a very professional way of putting it across, saying my child needs my attention. And trust me, from the time the corona incidents have happened, people have become more empathetic towards this element. You don't have to be perfect. Remember, you are at home and you've got your work at home. So, but the home has not got to work yet. So please understand, you're in a home environment, things will happen. Things will happen. And it is okay.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I'll implement this for the future.
You should try. See, parenting is experiment.
Yeah.
What works with your first child might not work with the second one. It is okay. And what formula I am giving you worked for me. I don't know whether it will work for you, but unless you explore it, how would you know?
Exactly. I need to try.
Right? You need to try, correct. Unless you experiment. And please don't be a perfectionist. It is okay. It is okay. I think this perfection thing is too much onto you. That's what I feel as of now. I have to be perfect professional. I should be a perfect mom. I should be. No, Baba. Perfect mom is balancing the work and the child together. So let's explore this element as well.
Sure.
Don't beat yourself. Don't beat yourself. It's not worth it.
There are so many, parents raising their hands. There are a lot of questions also. I think Padmaja ma'am, you can just unmute yourself and just talk. Ask your questions. Okay, then I'll read out one more. Is it? I think Dharni ma'am, are you asking?
I don't think they're able to unmute themselves. Are they able to
No,
unmute?
they can unmute, ma'am. They can.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. This is Shailisha.
Yes, Shailaja ma'am, please tell me.
I have dropped the text, but we have a student, ma'am.
Yes.
Since from 4 years, he is studying in our school itself. He
Okay.
is very good at answering all the questions, and he is very good in math itself. And when
Okay.
it comes to writing part, he know how to write also, ma'am. But the thing is, he will feel like heavy, or I don't know what's wrong with him. He won't write his notes on time.
But you
And
yourself have told me one thing, ma'am, but you yourself have told me one thing, that this guy is smart, this kid is intelligent, a kid ends up asking questions that are relevant, this kid answers questions when you ask him. That means this guy has got, he's active in school, right?
very good, ma'am. Yeah.
Very good. Then why can't,
Only
when we have so many, ma'am, let me finish. If he has so many plus points that you are so proud of, and when you share, I can feel it here that you are so happy with this child, why are we holding on to one thing that he is not doing very well? Why are we holding on to one aspect that he is not doing very well? He's not very happy doing it. But you
ma'am, why?
yourself have But you yourself have told me he's a wonderful child, right? Right?
But parents will be stick on for like
I repeat this in every Iris class. I do this, and I'm saying it again and again and again.
yes.
Parents have high expectations from their children.
Exactly,
Teachers
ma'am.
have high expectations from their child. But nobody is understanding what the expectation of the child is. You're not letting the child
Yeah,
live. Galat hai.
yeah.
It's okay. He will not write now. He will write probably. You yourself told me that he's able to ask questions, answer questions. That means he is intelligent. He's attentive in the class. What else would you want? It's okay. He will learn when he's supposed to write. I told you, my mother used to write my homework. Did I or did I not? So when the time comes, he'll figure it out. That's okay. He's not going to be sitting like this without writing for the rest of his life. If that's what you're thinking is going to happen, I'm sorry, it is not going to happen. Things will change. He's
Yeah.
just lazy. I am lazy too. How many of us are lazy now?
Of course, ma'am. At one.
After the computer has come, after the smartphones have come, how many of us are ready to write with a pen and paper except for teachers like you? I would not touch the pen and paper at all. And my handwriting is daridram. My handwriting is useless. But it's okay. When it comes to writing, you will write. So they will write. It's okay. It is just fine. You're expecting perfection from a child, huh? That's wrong.
Okay.
That's wrong.
Yeah,
Be
ma'am.
proud of what the
Just
child has been contributing in the class. You are one of the, I think you're one of the most, you should be one of the most proudest teacher, saying, I love this child makes me happy, versus saying this child does everything, but that
But-
thing shouldn't come.
Shailaja ma'am,
So,
you're from which center?
ma'am, Ballari, ma'am.
I thought so. Okay.
that's okay.
So this will be raised from our branch only.
No,
No,
that's
it's
okay.
not like that. There are so many Shailajas, and I heard your voice. I thought maybe, but I just wanted to clarify. It's not only Ballari. There are many parents.
Many parents will be asking the same question. My kid is answering, but they are not presenting their writing skills. How many times if we say however they are answering well, then why the same question, ma'am, is? But end of the day, they will end up with the same question. Why my kid is not writing?
Then
So
remember to raise a child. It takes a society to raise a child. In the society are parents, in the society are grandparents, in the society are teachers, in the society are many other people that the child come across. So it's not only your responsibility as a teacher, and it's not just their responsibility as parents. So it is very convenient for parents to put the blame or I would not say blame as a word, but it's very convenient for the parents to say, I'm sending the child to the school, so my child should be perfect. There is nothing called perfect. You yourself, being an adult, are not perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's not get there. Let's appreciate what the child is doing. Let's understand and be happy that the child is active. The child is happy going to school. The child is enjoying in the school. The child loves to spend time in the school. When he's coming back home, he's equally happy. That's all we should look at. For that age that you and I are talking about, there should be nothing more priority than this. That the child is happy. Let us not kill the happiness or ruin the happiness by adding कि वो homework नहीं करता है, वो लिखता नहीं है. Those are all not the things we need to worry about. They will happen and they will have to happen. They will happen.
Even they'll question, like they will write in the school, ma'am. Why not at the home?
And then the same thing I can tell you the same. No, my child eats at school but not at home. It's just just some time back, some teacher asked me, not some parent asked me, right, that, oh, my child eats at school but not at home. I need to feed him. Hota bhai. The child is comfortable there. He sees his peers. He sees everybody is writing. He sees there are color pens. He sees there's a teacher who gives extra attention. He sees that the teacher sits with him and writes. He likes the teacher a lot. Oh, there's so many things about it. So many things about it that the child is happy when the child is in an environment like that. Why can't we see all that as well?
This I really agree, ma'am. Because by seeing other kids, they will learn some good things too. Yeah.
So that's okay. It's a package, no? We ourselves are not perfect. How do you expect the child to be perfect? And you're not only expecting the child to be perfect, you're expecting the child to be perfect like an adult would expect, which is wrong.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. See, by now, teachers should be, you should speak the honest stuff. I'm not telling you please hide. I'm telling you please speak honestly about what you feel about the child. There's nothing wrong about it. But you should also ensure to tell the parents that they have to be, they should be more considerate towards the age of the child. And that's okay. Right. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more questions? Oh, we are already crossed the time, but I'm
Yes,
so
we
sorry.
already paused, but there are a lot of other questions. I'll just take one more question.
Yes, please.
My son plays and talks well at home, but when he goes outside, he becomes silent and doesn't respond. He seems to be scared of things.
See, you have the answer.
This
You
is
have
from
the answer.
Sandhya madam.
Okay, Sandhya ma'am. Remember, I keep telling this, and I've told you before in this session as well. Home is the most safest place a child can, a child can be. Okay, you can make the child feel most comfortable in a place which is home. But obviously, outside environment is out of our control. Right? So if a child is your child a single child, or does it have, does this little fellow have siblings? May I ask?
Sandhya ma'am, can you just tell us? Sandhya madam?
Yes, single child, madam.
Single child. Anukunna. Please remember when you have a single child, right? And remember, his toys are his toys. His environment is his environment. At the max, Amma and Nana coming from office might play for some time. Okay, again, only some time, right? So the child is very secure and safe in a house and an environment which is home. But the moment he goes out, he sees a lot of competition. He's not used to competition at home at all. He has never seen anybody share his toys. He has never had the opportunity to share his toys with anybody. He knows even if he shares it with his mom and dad, bloody will come back to him again. Right. But when you're going outside, one, you see a lot of similar height and weight and, similar kind of competitors around, number one. Number two, you see that they are sharing, they need importance, there is shouting, there is howling, there is pushing. You're not used to all this. In a home, which is an environment which is safe, a child is not introduced to all this. So yes, it is bound to be. That is exactly why I asked this question. If it's a single child, this always happens with a single child. And please don't worry. This is just a phase. You don't stop your child from going outside. But what you can teach is the life lessons. You can teach life skills for the child, as in what he can, what he should expect when he goes out. You should teach him that if there is a football, that there is one football, that there is 5 guys playing. So there will be times when there will be pushing and pulling happening, and it is fine. It is fine to fight. It is fine to get your ball back for which you are fighting, which is all okay. So you should be able to teach this child. But again, I'm telling you, theory teaching is very different than practical learning. So if your child is going out and playing and is for now being very silent, don't worry, he'll not be silent for too long. Don't worry. But he has to be in an environment where he's seeing other children of his age enjoying, and he will slowly start opening up. Give him some time. Give him some time. But for that matter, don't keep him at home. That's the worst thing that you will do for your child. Let the routine be the routine. If every day at 5 o'clock he goes out to the park, even if he's sitting and watching everybody, that is okay. Let him go. 1 or 2 friends after a couple of days will come and pull him to play, and he's going to be okay over a period of time. Don't worry, but don't stop him from going. That's the blunder you will create. So was I able to answer your question? Right. Yes.
Ma'am, I'd like to take one more question.
Okay.
This is from Muhammad Ali. Like, my son is 9 years old, always talking with himself, whenever he's free. He always do discussion with himself. How can I stop it? Shall I repeat it again?
No, I got it. I'm just framing my words across. Okay, Muhammad Ali, right? What is his name? Yes. Muhammad Ali ji, आपके लिए ये सवाल का जवाब, this is what I'm going to tell you now. Okay. Corporate world में, when you're talking about, MNCs and all that, right? In the corporate world, आजकल एक नया, आजकल नहीं, for some time now, this trend has become or taken more precedence, which is self-talk. People appreciate doing self-talk. It is called SELF, self-talk. Okay, so that is exactly what your child is doing, and there is nothing wrong on the self-talk element. Okay, there are some times you as an adult would also be doing. आपने अपने आप को गौर किया है? There are times when आप ऑफिस से आते हो and your wife is there, your child is there, everybody is around, your mom, your dad, everybody is around, yet you are sitting on the dining table and then you're talking to yourself saying, ये ऐसा कर सकते थे, ये हो सकता था, this project would have been handled better. You're not, has it ever happened to you? Just answer me in a yes or a no. होता है, right? This is what your child is doing, and there is nothing wrong about it. He's comfortable when he's talking to people. When people are around, he's talking to them normally. But there are times when he talks to himself, which is okay. Sometimes you're very comfortable talking to yourself, and that's fine. I sometimes feel nobody understands me better than I am. Speak it out aloud, and that's fine. It's nice to have self-talk. There is nothing wrong about it. So long as he's not doing it when there are all the time and every time. Your child is doing perfectly well. Mast hai aapka beta. Jo hum aaj corporate mein we are teaching in the corporate world today, your child is already implementing it. So you should be proud of your child. Rather, we should learn from him. So Muhammad Ali ji, don't worry. Don't worry. बहुत अच्छा बेटा आपका मिला है. You will be just fine. Right. That's okay. So I hope I was able to answer all your questions. I know many of the questions, my Radhika ma'am, I'm sure they're still there unanswered.
Yes, ma'am. There are still few questions. I think we can have one only Q&A sessions.
I think we should.
We
I
should
should.
have. Seeing the
We should
questions,
have
I think
one.
we should
Yes,
have.
yes.
Definitely we'll plan it. And
Yes.
it's almost 4:30. I think
So
if there is no question, yeah, I know there are questions, but it's so I think let's take it. Close it for the day. What I feel, but still, if anybody have any kind of questions, quick questions, you can just raise your hands. Can we go for 10 more minutes, ma'am? It's 4:23. Can we go till 4:30? Is that okay?
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
So if at all anybody
Subhashini
has,
ma'am.
please raise your hand and you can unmute.
Subhashini ma'am has raised her hands.
Ma'am, please tell us about good touch, bad touch, ma'am. Nowadays, it's a threatening, especially girl child.
No, it is for both. This is
Yes,
what
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I'm
yes.
so very glad that you said this, ma'am, Subhashini ma'am.
ma'am.
Good touch, bad touch is not just for the girl child. It is equally important for a boy child as well, because the boy also needs to understand they are also not safe, and they are also supposed to be aware of what to do and what not to do. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Radhika ma'am, we do have good touch, bad touch that happens in our school as well, right?
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. We do have, send them the documents and what has to be done and how it has to be done. Complete, a proper documentation we send to the school so that the center itself does it.
Ma'am, one small request is in every prayer, ma'am, early morning prayer will start, ma'am, in every school. Prayer lo include చేస్తే బాగుంటుందని నా ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్ మేడం డైలీ స్టార్టింగ్
బట్ ఈ గుడ్ టచ్ అండ్ బ్యాడ్ టచ్ అనేది ఎవ్రీ డే మనము
ఎస్ మ్యామ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ ద డే ఒక 2 minutes ఏదైనా ఎక్సర్సైజ్ లాగా కానీ వాళ్ళతో
ఎక్సర్సైజ్ అవన్నీ చేస్తారు మ్యామ్ బట్ ఎవ్రీ డే ఈ టాపిక్ గురించి మాట్లాడడం కూడా వాట్ యు సే మ్యామ్
Radhika ma'am, I just remind me after the session is over today. నేను ఒక వీడియో చూసాను రీసెంట్ లో ఓకే ఇట్ వాస్ a video made in Telugu only సరేనా a very beautiful చిన్న వీడియో స్నాప్ షాట్ వీడియో కానీ చాలా చక్కగా చేశారు వాళ్ళు గుడ్ టచ్ బ్యాడ్ టచ్ ని ఒక చిన్న ఎలిమెంట్ లో ఎంత బ్యూటిఫుల్ గా ఆమె పెట్టిందో అది మీకు పంపిస్తాను రాధిక మ్యామ్ మీరు అది సుభాషిణి మ్యామ్ అండ్ అదర్ పేరెంట్స్ ఆల్సో ఇక్కడ మీరు షేర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు I liked it. Let me search around the video. But it was a very sweet. I'm glad you asked.
యాక్చువల్లీ మ్యామ్ మేము ఇంట్లో 100% ఇస్తాం మ్యామ్ బట్ వాళ్ళు బయట టీచర్స్ తోటి ఎక్కువ ఉంటారు కదా మనం ఇండియా ఈజ్ మై కంట్రీ లైక్ ఇప్పుడు అంతా చేస్తున్నాం కదా మేడం అట్లా వీటి గురించి కూడా ఒక 2 lines అనేవి యాడ్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళకి బాగుంటుందని మేడం డైలీ రొటీన్ లో నాలెడ్జ్
డైలీ రొటీన్ లో మనం కూడా చేసేది మనం ఇంట్లో చేస్తూ ఉండాలి స్కూల్లో చేసేది ఐఎమ్ ష్యూర్ ఐరిస్ as a brand they've done a fabulous job on this angle as well. So maybe Radhika ma'am can work around. నేను ఒక వీడియో Radhika ma'am తో షేర్ చేస్తాను. Just have a look at it. చాలా నీట్ గా చక్కగా they've covered everything as whole aspect of. పంపిస్తాను నేను చూడండి. And my request only a request to all the parents is remember to raise a child. It's 2 to tango. So you need to be, as a parent, your contribution should be equally there. And as teachers, they will do their best that they can.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So Bajatalu is completely on both of us.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
Right? So keeping that in mind, I will share that with Radhika ma'am after the session is over today.
Sure.
And then she'll probably share it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Can I know the child is in which center?
Ballari, ma'am.
Ballari. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Done.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem at all, Subhashini garu. No problem at all. Ramana Rao Challa garu also raised hands.
Yeah, Ramarao and Challa garu. Sir, you can just unmute yourself and ask your question. Ramarao Challa. Ramarao garu.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Lakshmi, Ravana Mrs.
Okay. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, ma'am. Good evening. My son is presently studying first class, ma'am. Iris Florets, Suraram branch.
Okay.
Ma'am, present my abbai previous no school, ma'am. Any school, a school ki velaledu, but first time is Iris ko. ప్రీవియస్లీ చాలా చేంజ్ వచ్చింది దానిలో. బట్ కానీ ఎక్కడో చిన్న ఇంకా అల్లరి ఉంది మేడం. తను ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళ తమ్ముడిని అవాయిడ్ చేయడం, వద్దు వద్దు తను వద్దు నన్ను ఒక్కడనే ఉండాలి అని చెప్పడం, లేకపోతే ఇంకా అంత పర్ఫెక్ట్ అవ్వట్లేదు మేడం.
మేడం మనమే పర్ఫెక్ట్ లేదు. వీఆర్ ఆల్ అడల్ట్స్, వి ఆర్ సెల్స్. మీ అత్తమ్మని అడిగితే ఒక పెద్ద లిస్ట్ ఇస్తారు ఎలా నా కోడలు ఉందని. మనము డోంట్ టేక్ మీ రాంగ్, ప్లీజ్ డోంట్ మిస్అండర్స్టాండ్ మీ, బట్ అర్థం చేసుకోండి, మనం ఇంత అడల్ట్ అయినాక కూడా అత్తమ్మని అడిగితే మన గురించి ఒక పెద్ద లవ్ లెటర్ వస్తుంది. మన గురించి ఇఫ్ వీ హావ్ టు ఆస్క్ అబౌట్ అవర్ స్పౌస్, విల్ గెట్ అనదర్ బిగ్ లిస్ట్. పర్ఫెక్షన్ అని ఒక చాలా తప్పు థాట్ ప్రాసెస్ అండి. మీరు ఎంత బ్యూటిఫుల్ గా ఇప్పుడే చెప్పారు దట్ ఎంత మార్పులు వచ్చాయి, ఎన్ని చేంజెస్ వచ్చాయి. వై కాంట్ వి బి అప్రిషియేటివ్ అబౌట్ ఇట్? అల్లరి చెయ్యడా, ఆ ఏజ్ లో చెయ్యడా? ఫర్ హిమ్ హిస్ యంగర్ బ్రదర్ ఇస్ లైక్ అ టాయ్. ఫర్ హిమ్ హీ ఫీల్స్ మీరు చాలా అక్కడ. ఇప్పుడు స్కూల్ నుంచి వచ్చినాక సపోజ్ హౌ యంగ్ ఇస్ యువర్ ద అదర్ చైల్డ్?
మీ చిన్నబ్బాయి
సెకండ్ బేబీ చిన్నబ్బాయి ఎంత ఏజ్?
ప్రజెంట్ 2.5 మేడం.
అవును కదా. సో ఇట్ ఇస్ బౌండ్ టు బి. ఇప్పుడు నేను స్కూల్ నుంచి వస్తున్నాను, ఎవరికి ఇంపార్టెన్స్ కావాలి ఇప్పుడు? ఐ వాజ్ నాట్ విత్ అమ్మా ఫర్ సో లాంగ్. నేను అమ్మతో పాటు ఐ వాజ్ నాట్ దేర్ ఫర్ సో లాంగ్. ఇప్పుడు నేను రాగానే యు ఆర్ గివింగ్ మీ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్. Okay, I was at a strange place. I was with strange people around. Now I am at an environment which is something that I am very happy about, and my mother is concentrating on the younger child, no? Will I not feel that?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, yakkada at this age, this sibling rivalry is very normal. It is very normal. You are not the first one who is going through it. Andarki, whoever has got siblings has had this problem.
Yes,
so don't worry. Right now the fellow, if he is feeling uncomfortable because inta time baita unnadu inti nunchi nu rangane, then if you don't hug him, you don't spend time with him, you say nen veedni chuskuntunnanu ra, nu sariga tinu sarena ainaka tv chuddam, then it's like giving instructions and he doesn't like it. evarki nachadandi.
yes.
సో ఇట్స్ ఓకే. మీరు ఫీల్ అవ్వకండి, ఇట్స్ ఓకే. వాడాలి అవన్నీ చాలా చాలా డైలాగ్స్ చెప్తాడు. ఇట్స్ ఓకే. హీ డజంట్ మీన్ ఎనీ హార్మ్. హీస్ జస్ట్ ఫీలింగ్ లెఫ్ట్ అవుట్. హీస్ జస్ట్ ఫీలింగ్ అన్కంఫర్టబుల్ అంతే. వాడిది అన్కంఫర్టబుల్ ఫీలింగ్ వాడు ఇలా చూపెడుతున్నారు అంతే. నథింగ్ మోర్ దెన్ దాట్. హీస్ జస్ట్ పొసెసివ్. హీ జస్ట్ నీడ్స్ అటెన్షన్ అంతే. నథింగ్ మోర్ దెన్ దాట్. యు ఆర్ అ ప్రౌడ్ పేరెంట్ అండి. డోంట్ డౌట్ యువర్ చైల్డ్ ప్లీజ్. ఈజ్ అ బ్యూటిఫుల్ కిడ్. ఇంత బ్యూటిఫుల్ గా మీరు చెప్పాడు ఎంత మార్పులు వచ్చాయని. ఇది కూడా మారిపోతుంది. 4 years కి ఇది కూడా చెయ్యకపోతే తప్పే అండి. ఇంత మెచ్యూరిటీ మనం ఇంత పెద్దగా అయినాక మనకు మెచ్యూరిటీ రాలేదు. 4 years కి ఏం ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం అండి. ఇట్స్ రాంగ్.
బట్ నో ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్స్ మ్యామ్. కాకపోతే ప్రీవియస్లీ చాలా చాలా చేంజ్ అయింది. ఐరిస్ స్కూల్ జాయిన్ అయింది. ఐఎమ్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ దట్. బట్
వెరీ ప్రౌడ్ ఆఫ్ యూ. వెరీ ప్రౌడ్ ఆఫ్ యూ. Very proud of you. Iris, this is a clap to you for a good job done.
Yeah. It's an appreciation for the teachers, right?
Absolutely. All the hard work gets paid off. Ante kada.
PP2 ma'am, Sneha madam is every career lo first change in your teacher, ma'am.
So sweet. So sweet. So sweet. That's very
it's
very
big,
nice.
big applause for Sneha teacher, right?
I know.
But
we are also very happy when we get appreciation for our teachers from the parents, right? Because you trust the teachers, you send your child, and when you see a change, it's really
good. That's nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's being recognized.
Very true. Very true. Appreciated. Right. So we are at 4:32.
Yes.
Right. So I hope today's session was beneficial to you. I again repeat, just because I have had shared certain experiences of mine, or I've shared certain experiences of what parents have come and shared with me, doesn't necessarily mean it will be something that can work for you or your child. So please, but unless you explore, you would not know, right? But you have Iris for support. You have other parents who have gone through, you have your in-laws, you have your own parents who are pillars of support for you during this time of need. So please seek help, and I hope and pray that you feel good about yourself, which you're currently doubting. So you feel good about yourself and take a pride in who you're raising. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ramya ma'am, for the wonderful session. And I'm sure parents might have, definitely they're going to pick all the tips or whatever you have shared it. And as you said, it again depends how you're going to take it. It depends from varies from child to child, right? So we need to take it. And parenting is always an, I can say, an experience.
Ongoing process.
Ongoing process, learning. It's a learning, everyday learning, right? Even you have a child of 2 years or you have a child of 20 or 25 years, learning.
You
Right.
are bang on, hit the nail on the head.
Yes. So thank you so much. And thank you, parents, for listening to us. And
One
as
second.
I said,
Okay, Nisham, there is Rajesh Karu has written, he's written appreciation. Oh, thanks so much, Rajesh Karu. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, sorry, I just have a last question. So,
Please.
yeah. As you just answered about the question which was asked by Mohammed Garu, right? Like, as
Hanji.
he was telling, 9 years kid, like he speaks sometimes himself. Even like my daughter is a 3 years kid. She is studying nursery in Iris Biranguda. I mean, she doesn't stop speaking from the day start. She tells something. I mean, which are relevant. But sometimes, as said, like, but very few times she speaks on herself, and like, if suddenly if I came from office, right, she continuously speaks. If I'm in office, then she used to ask, where is Nana? Nana eppudu vastadu? Nana ekkadiki elladu? Nana eppudu vastadu?
Correct. Okay, let me answer this question to you, Rajesh Garu. Mana madhyalo kuda, as being adults, after some time when you talk to your wife, you need variety, you need change, right? You want to talk to your mom, then you want to talk to your colleagues at work, then you want to talk to your friends. Avuna kada?
Yeah. Yes.
It's the same thing with the child. How long can the child be, talking just to the mom? So she looks forward to Nana coming home. She's very excited to share her whole routine until Nana comes. And because Amma is in the kitchen and cooking and not concentrating much, she feels that she's very comfortable with herself and she's talking. See, there is one thing that all of you need to understand. If the child talks, you have a problem. The child doesn't talk, you have a problem. It is not how it works.
No. My concern is sometimes like she speaks on herself, and irrespective of the age, right? It doesn't matter about the age. Yeah, that's my question is.
Now we have it's a very normal thing. A 3-year-old can do it. The moment your child starts to talk, right? This routine automatically starts to fall. Now, Iqbal, I forgot his name. Muhammad Ali ji. Yeah. So his son is at 9. He's doing it. He's observed it now. Your child is doing it at 3. There would be a child who's doing it at 4. There'll be a child who's doing it at 7. There'll be a child who will be doing it at 15. There'll be an adult who will be doing it at 45. You will have all sorts of people. And it's okay. Don't panic. It's fine.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. No problem. No problem at all. Tulika ji, thank you so much for the appreciation. Right. Vidya Garu, thank you so much. Yes.
I have a last question, ma'am. My child is a picky eater. My child is a picky eater, ma'am. He used to keep food in their mouth for an hour without swallowing, ma'am.
Because he's lazy. Because he's lazy.
Yeah, he's too lazy.
See, you don't have to tell me, madam. I know it. That's exactly. I was so confident about it. He's nothing but lazy. He is sheerly lazy. He doesn't like to chew food. It is absolutely fine. So don't worry. Meera Daniki, don't compensate it with milk. Then he will smartly know that, oh, now if I don't do this for 2 hours, Amma will give me milk and I'm going to be okay. My stomach will be full.
No, he's not interested in drinking milk also, ma'am.
Very good. Then your child is growing up perfectly fine. Don't worry. Don't go by my laugh, but I can't stop. I can't stop it. But then, anni mataku oka mata. Every child now is a picky eater only. When you have too much of variety and options, no, it's okay. So long as allergy ledu, you do your normal thing of what you're supposed to do. The child might not eat the first day, the child might not eat the second day, third day he will come back. He will eat because he knows you will not budge. How much ever he cries, how much ever he shouts, he knows that he will not budge. He needs to understand that very, very clearly. Yenta adu, yenta padu, yenta cry chahi, amma will not budge. As simple as that. So he needs to get that straight, and he knows he has to understand that this is the food that will be given to him, whether he likes it or doesn't. Unless it's anything to do with allergy, you don't have to worry as a parent at all. Your child is growing up perfectly fine. See, he's very active. He's still active. He's still shouting. He's still jumping. Ayyo, then what is your problem? Ayyo, what is your problem? He's fine. He's fine. Don't worry, re Baba. Don't worry.
He's waiting too less, ma'am. So I will worry about it.
And he's lazy because he knows in another couple of hours my amma will, let go of everything and she'll come and give me something else to eat, something that I like to eat. So he knows it. No, he's playing his game. You become smarter. You don't budge into it. As simple as that. Konni rosulu, it's going to be difficult. I'm not going to say that it's going to be a cakewalk. Abaddam chappanu. It is not a cakewalk. You will curse yourself saying, shit, I'm making my child suffer. I'm not feeding my child. Oh, my child might not. Your child exactly will do everything. And when he knows that he's going to, you're feeling guilty, he will know exactly how to play the game. So my humble submission, don't worry. So long as he's active, he's able to concentrate, he's able to talk, he's still enjoying his day, you are raising a healthy child.
Okay, ma'am.
But don't give up. Don't give up, Ante.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your
You're
valuable
welcome.
information.
No problem, ma'am. No problem. You're raising a wonderful child. Don't worry.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Subhashni garu.
Actually, I want to appreciate Iris, ma'am. మా పాప ఎప్పుడు చాక్లెట్స్ కి ఐస్ క్రీమ్స్ కి ఎస్ అని చెప్పేది. నిన్న బళ్ళారి ఐరిస్ లో స్ట్రేంజర్స్ హౌ టు రియాక్ట్ విత్ స్ట్రేంజర్స్ అనేసి ఒక యాక్టివిటీ చేపించారు. సో దాని వల్ల ఎప్పుడు ఎస్ చెప్పేది, నిన్న మాత్రం నో 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 షిట్ సేడ్ మ్యామ్. సో సోషల్ అవేర్నెస్.
Excellent. But just because a child said no to the chocolate today doesn't mean tomorrow it will say yeah. Every day is not Sunday.
Yes, ma'am. స్ట్రేంజర్స్ లాగా మేము కూడా బిహేవ్ చేస్తున్నాం మ్యామ్. ఇలాంటి యాక్టివిటీస్ ఇంకా ఎంకరేజ్ చేయాలనేసి అనుకుంటున్నాను.
Very beautiful. Radhika ma'am, I hope you have made your notes.
I'm listening. I'm so happy and appreciate Ballari teachers and Ballari director, madam and everybody. Right?
Yes,
definitely we'll plan such activities and we'll be sending it to the centers.
Yes,
Very
yes,
good.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Pleasure meeting all of you. Stay healthy, happy, blessed.
Yeah, thank you.
Ma'am.
Thanks to the
Yes,
Ballari teachers and to the director Kalyani ma'am, right? And thanks
Yes,
to
ma'am.
all for listening and taking all the suggestions given by Ramya madam. And definitely, I think we need to plan on a session, Ramya ma'am. Only
Yes. Maybe the next session when we have a parent session, right? We have it next month.
We have it next month.
Let's hold that for Q&A only.
Surely. We'll plan it and definitely we are going to send them the message.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks Radhika ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.